Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Malak. We're going to read Jeremiah, the third chapter. We're not going to really go over it. We're just going to read it. It's about Israel committing adultery, following idols. And basically, we're going to briefly go into it. 'Cause I like to make lessons, but I also like to read, Torah. I like to read certain things in the scriptures. Certain chapters that, we need to read. It says, they say if a man put away his wife, so if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Meaning, in other words, if a man put away his wife and she become another man, she give it another man, shall he return unto her again? That's the question. Shall not that land be greatly polluted? So if a man puts away his wife and then he takes her back after she was with another man, it says that land will be greatly polluted, right? It becomes basically unclean. But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return unto me, return again to me, saith the Lord. So, it's comparing a man that has a woman that plays the harlot and deals with another man. So it says, who they're speaking of? Speaking of Israel. People say, "Oh, you add to the scriptures." No, I'm explaining it. That's what the prophets did. That's what the teachers always did. Most I give them the spirit to show what the scripture means. You just don't read the scriptures through, and there's no explanation. Right? The Bible is not a novel that you just read like it's a novel. It has to be explained. It says, lift up thine eyes upon the high places. The high places are what? Places of worship. And see where thou hast been lying with. So who are you lying? It's saying, look upon the high places, meaning places of worship, and who you've been laying with. And the ways thou hast sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness. So what was one of the ways we committed fornication? Spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery. It's by dealing with the Arabian. What is that today? That is what you call today Islam. If you follow Islam, you're following another God, and you're laying down, meaning committing spiritual adultery with the God of the Arabians. All right? Back then, Islam had, you didn't have the name Islam, but the Arabs still had their own false gods. Islam is a direct descendant of the false gods of the Arabs. So in a way, they did follow that religion. When Muhammad set up the religion of Islam, he learned from the Catholic Church and he learned from the Jewish people. And basically, he combined those two belief systems. Then he turned around and he brung one of the gods that he already had and called it the God he called today. When I say Jewish, it doesn't mean necessarily the white Jews. It means people who was basically, it was following a corrupt form of Judaism. Because we're not Jewish. All right? Jewish means pertaining to. All right? So he took the Jews and the Catholics taught him. He took that religion, mixed them together, and created the religion of Islam. So back then, the Arabs still had their false gods. So some of our people would follow Arab religion as they doing today. That is fornication. And thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. So that's what you call spiritual whoredom when you follow other gods. And this is an example, the God of the Arabians. It says, therefore the showers have been withholden, meaning the blessings have been held from us. We under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And there has been no latter rain. That's going again with the curses. And thou hast a whore's forehead. What does that mean, a whore's forehead? That means even though you haven't even followed that idol, you're still thinking about following it. You're still running after, still inquiring of these other gods. Just like when a woman has a whore's forehead, what does she have? The mind of a whore. She's always talking to different guys She's always being friendly with different guys, whether she laying down with her, or laying down with them or not. She is what, have a whore's mindset. You know, whether she dresses like a harlot, all these women talk about they have guy friends. That's whoredom, according to the Bible. All right, a woman's not supposed to be all friendly up with different men. All right, talking to different guys on the phone, texting different guys, even if she is single. It's still what? A whore's forehead. Just like Israel when they was always inquiring of the other gods, even if they didn't deal with those other gods, they still had that mindset of a whore. All right. So let's keep going. It says, and thou refuse to be ashamed, meaning you're not even ashamed of what you're doing. Just like when a woman is refused to be ashamed, a physical woman, because it's comparing the two. You know. So just like when you have a woman, she don't want to be ashamed. She wants to still do what? Have a whore's forehead, have a whore's mindset. Out here talking to different guys, being friendly with different men. She likes to say, well, I don't deal with women. I don't deal with women because women are backstabbers, this and that. So she calling herself that. That's just an excuse to be a whore. That's a whoredom mindset. A woman's not supposed to be all friendly up with different brothers, flirting with different brothers. That's a whore's forehead. All right? So that's why it's explaining everything. You know, even though it's speaking spiritually, it also mentioned in the beginning of physical. So I'm just showing the parallel between them two. Let's go ahead. It says, "Will thou not will thou not from this time cry unto me?" When are we gonna cry to the Most High? When the Most High is putting us through those curses of Deuteronomy 28 because of committing whoredom, adultery, spiritually and physically. So now you're getting under the curses. Now you want to cry to the Most High. My Father, thou art the guide of my youth. All of a sudden you say, my Father, you're the guide of my youth. Will he reverse his anger forever? That's the question. Will he keep it to the end? That's another question. Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldst. I mean, you didn't just speak of evil, you did the evil. All right. The Lord has said unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen what that thy backsliding Israel have done? She has gone up on every high mountain, it's talking about places of worship, and under every green tree, and there has played the harlot. How does she play the harlot? By what? Following these other gods, following false gods. And after that I have said, she has done all these things. Turn thou unto me. So even after Israel committed all this whoredom, following other gods, the Most High said, what? Return unto him. Return back. But she returned not. I mean, she didn't come back. And a treacherous sister Judah saw it. So you got Israel, you got Judah. Those are two kingdoms. That's the 12 tribes of Israel divided into two kingdoms. This happened during the time of Rehoboam, king of Judah, and Jeroboam, king of Israel, or Ephraim. It says, so her sister Judah saw it. And I saw when, for all the cause wherein backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had to put her away. So the Most High did what? He put away Judah for he could have put away Israel for committing adultery. So the Most High divorced us. If the Most High divorced us, why do you got Israelites saying they only believe in the Old Testament? When the Most High says right here that he divorced us, he put us away. So you're not dealing with the Most High no more. It says it right here. The Most High put you away, you're done. You can't return when you get put away. It says, I put her away and gave her a bill of divorce, meaning the Most High gave who the bill of divorce? Israel. Those are the 10 tribes. The Most High put them away. So for you Israelites to say you don't believe in the New Testament, you believe in the Old Testament, explain this to me. How are you praying to the Most High when he put you away? How is that? He says it right here. It says, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not. So even after This is the Most High's other wife, Judah, saw that Israel was put away in the bill of divorce. Scripture say what? She feared not. It's just like if a man has a woman that commits adultery, he has two women, let's say Judah and Israel. And one woman commits adultery, and then that man put her away and give her a bill of divorce. The other wife see the woman put away for adultery, and then the other wife says, you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to do it too. Shows you our people didn't have no fear. So this is what happened in the spiritual sense. But went and played the harlot also. It says, and it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and stocks. What is that speaking of? These other false gods. These gods today would be what? The stones would be Islam. All right. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but faintly, saith the Lord. Meaning even after all of this, Judah, the scriptures say treacherous, because a woman is treacherous when she goes and commits adultery on her husband. All right? Just like Israel is what? Treacherous. Judah was treacherous. It says, have not turned unto me with her whole heart, meaning Judah came back, but Judah didn't really come back to the Most High. It's like if a man has two wives, like I said, and then you have the one that call herself trying to come back, but she's not really coming back. She do it a little bit, but she's still being wicked. She's halfway doing half, you know. This is what Judah was doing. It says, go and proclaim these words towards the north, and say, return, O backsliding Israel, saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith the Lord, and will not keep my anger forever. So even through the Most High putting Israel away, he said, return back. Only acknowledge thou iniquity that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and have scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. So if Israel was put away, and the Most High said, return unto you, when Israel was put away, what happened to them? They was put into captivity. So how are we going to turn back to the Most High, and then someone says something like, we don't keep the high holy days because we're in captivity? And how are we returning back to the Most High? That's one of the things, one of the keeping of the commandments, all the commandments, not some. Captivity, we're in captivity because we broke the commandments. How are we going to all of a sudden not keep certain commandments? It doesn't work that way. It says, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you. So the Most High was married unto who? The nation of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. And they were divided into what? Judah and Israel. So people like to say, the Most High is married to just Israel, and he had one wife, Israel. No, he had two wives, Judah and Israel. All right. It says, and I will take you one out of a city. Meaning sometimes in this truth, you'll get just one out of a whole city. And two of a family. Sometimes only you and another family member comes back to the Most High, comes back to this truth. And I will bring you to what? To Zion. It says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart. So even the word pastor is what? In the Old Testament. And which feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass that when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith the Lord, they shall no more say, the ark of the covenant of the Lord, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall I remember it, neither shall I visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. So when we return back to the Most High, we're not going to have the ark of the covenant. Most High said that he's going to give us pastors according to his heart. And at that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their own heart. So when we return, we're gonna what? We're gonna be gathered into Jerusalem, and we're gonna take away what? Our evil heart. All right, that's part one. I'm going to say shalom.